Before we begin, a quick announcement to let you guys know that we have a channel membership. If you're interested, please see the link in the description for more details. Now, on to our story. You're born a prince to the Pharaoh in ancient Egypt, which sounds like winning the cosmic lottery. Gold, gods, absolute power. On paper, this is as good as it gets. In reality, you arrive weak, barely breathing, wrapped in linen that already feels like a test run for your funeral. Your mother has been here before, a son who never cried. She assumes you will join your brother, the one who died at birth, before dawn. Around you, the palace hums with quiet math. Who survives? Who doesn't? Who replaces whom? No one says it out loud, but no one expects you to last the night. Overnight, servants watch your chest to see if it moves. When morning comes and you're still alive, no one cheers. Survival isn't celebrated here. It's noted, logged, filed away as not dead yet. You survived birth. That's the first miracle. But it won't be the last thing that tries to kill you. The palace you're in is crowded, not with love, but with siblings. Brothers and sisters from different mothers, concubines, secondary wives. Every child is a possibility. Every child is a threat. Here, succession anxiety isn't a future problem. It's baked into the walls. Outside the palace, Egypt looks eternal. Temples, rituals, order, and harmony hold the universe together. Years pass, and you turn 4. Longer than what most of the palace inhabitants want you to live for. You're old enough to notice patterns, but too young to question them. Your father is a god, they say. Pharaoh, the living Horus, son of Ra. Yet when you see him, he is always seated, always supported, always tired. His movements are careful. His breathing is loud. He disappears for days behind curtains. When he does appear, the court pretends not to notice how thin he looks. One day you ask your grandmother why a god looks so weak. She smiles and pulls you close. She smells of oils and old linen. She tells you the body is only clay, that divinity is heavy, too heavy for most flesh to carry. She says your father suffers because he is more sacred than other men, that a mortal body can only contain so much God before it begins to break. You ask if that will happen to you. She nods proudly. From then on, weakness stops being frightening. It becomes meaningful. Every ache is proof, every fever a sign. You learn early that pain isn't failure. It's confirmation of your divinity. Your lessons begin early. Not reading, not numbers. Rituals, posture. You are taught how to stand before priests, how to be carried in public, and how not to touch what is sacred, including yourself. Touching oneself is reserved for the pharaoh during rituals in the Nile. You're introduced to Ma'at. It is explained as order, balance, and obedience. You're told the world only works because the pharaoh exists. You hear stories about your ancestors. Brother married sister, cousin married cousin, blood kept pure. No one uses the word incest. They say continuity. They say stability. They say the gods demand it. Couriers kneel when they see you. Their smiles are sharp. Their eyes linger too long. You don't know why yet, but you feel measured. By the time you turn 7, it already feels true. You are a god, and the fact that you are fragile only proves it. By the time you are 12, the difference is impossible to ignore. Other royal boys run, wrestle, draw bows until their arms shake with strength. You try to keep pace because that is what a future pharaoh is supposed to do. But your lungs burn too quickly. Your joints ache after short exertion. Falls leave you bruised longer than they should. Once, during chariot training, your leg buckles when you land. The instructors exchange glances they think you don't see. After that, the lessons change. You are not dismissed. Never that. You are redirected. Strategy replaces endurance. Maps replace marches. You learn how armies move without marching with them, how supply lines break empires, and how timing matters more than strength. Priests praise your mind. Viziers call you thoughtful, but never strong. Your teenage days are filled with ritual, cleansing at dawn, temple processions before the sun climbs high. You are dressed, undressed, purified, and dressed again. Incense follows you everywhere. You are taught that when the Nile floods, it is because you have pleased the gods, and when it does not, it will be because you have failed. You're told Osiris walks the earth in your skin, and that balance lives or dies by your behavior. You begin to understand the truth they never state plainly. Egypt does not want a man. It does not want a strategist or a child. It wants a symbol that never falters. It wants a god. And if your body cannot carry that image forever, it will be the image, not the truth, that survives you. By the time you turn 18, the palace smells different. Not incense, fear. Your father no longer appears in public without support. His voice thins. His hands shake during rituals meant to reassure the gods and the people. Couriers stop pretending. Everyone knows the throne is about to open, and an empty throne is an invitation to blood. The palace knows you're next in line. After all, your mother is the greater wife. And by law, the first son of the greater wife is next in line. But that doesn't mean everyone agrees with the law. So, the waiting begins. Your brothers grow sharper, quieter. Some smile too much. Others stop looking at you. Mothers whisper behind screens. Lesser wives gather allies. The priesthood stretches time itself, delaying ceremonies, disputing omens, and insisting the gods are uncertain. And uncertainty means change. One day your mother visits your chambers. So do the men loyal to your grandmother's memory. She is gone now, but her influence remains. It is an inner circle obsessed with lineage and preservation at any cost. They speak openly to you for the first time, not in parables, not in ritual language. They tell you the truth. 5 generations of pure unions, brother to sister, father to daughter, blood folded back on itself again and again. You are told your parents share a mother. This is not confessed as corruption, but celebrated as continuity. Proof, they say, that the divine line has not been diluted. Your weakness is reframed as evidence of sanctity, not decay. You absorb it because there is no alternative. To reject the system is to reject yourself. To acknowledge rot is to admit the god is dying. Your mother begins to move pieces. Concubines are watched. Nobles are divided and catalogued. Loyal guards are reassigned. You are warned never to walk alone. Food is tasted twice. Knives are everywhere, hidden behind silk and ceremony. Months later, your father dies quietly in his chambers. No thunder, no divine sign. When the news drifts out, the palace explodes. Doors are barred, messengers run. Someone screams, someone else disappears. By nightfall, the air is thick with accusation and opportunity. God is dead, and every blade in Egypt suddenly knows your name. The gap between the death of your father and your coronation is measured in hours. You move quickly, because hesitation is death. The first attempt comes before dawn. A man you have trusted since childhood steps too close, too familiar, his voice calm as the blade flashes. He stabs you in the arm. Pain blooms, hot and wet. You fall backward. He does not get a second chance. Others cut him down where he stands, his blood soaking into the palace floor beside yours. There is no time to grieve the betrayal. Your mother has taken control with terrifying speed. Orders are given without ceremony. Concubines and lesser wives are dragged from their quarters and thrown into cells meant for enemies of the state, so they can't give orders. Guards loyal to uncertain houses are disarmed or killed outright. Some of your brothers are arrested, others flee. No trials, no explanations. You are moved constantly, bleeding and dizzy, surrounded by armed men who swear loyalty with hands still stained red. The palace becomes a maze of locked corridors and whispered passwords. Every scream you hear might be for you or because of you. It no longer matters which. By the time the sun rises fully, resistance has collapsed. Fear has done its work. Now that the screams have finally stopped, the rituals begin. Only after your father is buried in the Valley of Kings and the palace is quiet enough to pretend order has returned, do they cleanse you. Priests pour Nile water over your wounded body, washing away blood, fear, and inconvenient memories. You are anointed with myrrh and frankincense, oils meant to seal cracks between flesh and divinity. They give you 5 names, each heavier than the last, each claiming you for eternity. The double crown is lowered onto your head, red and white fused into something whole, crook in one hand, flail in the other. You're now the shepherd and enforcer of Egypt. At that moment, Horus takes your place behind your eyes. Ma'at is restored. At least, that's what everyone agrees to believe. You stand there wounded, exhausted, and crowned. A god ascended not because he was chosen, but because everyone else was gone, and the throne does not care. Life as a pharaoh follows a strict routine. You wake before dawn, as always, to the Nile-scented hush of the palace. Priests are already waiting. Purification rituals begin with cold water, incense, and prayers to Ra. Your body protests, aches, a faint fever, but the ceremony cannot be delayed. Your reflection in polished bronze reminds you, godhood is performance. Weakness is never visible. Breakfast is brief. Grain, figs, and dates eaten in silence while scribes line up petitions and reports. By mid-morning, you are dressed in fine linen and jewelry. The vizier arrives, carrying records of tax collection, temple offerings, and the grain stores. Nomarchs, or regional governors, await your judgment on disputes, border patrols, and military requests. Every decree must be precise. A slip could unravel Ma'at, the cosmic order you are charged to uphold. Concubines and secondary wives enter your presence throughout the day, as tradition demands. Their duty is to produce heirs and maintain alliances. Your sister, now your great royal wife, is seated beside you at court ceremonies. Her presence a constant reminder of the purity your grandmother once upheld. A child must be conceived. You hope this will secure the line, but your body already betrays you, and nobles murmur that the pharaoh cannot lead armies if he cannot stand without pain. Your afternoons are reserved for religious duties, walking temple circuits, making offerings to Amun-Ra, and conducting the ritual reenactment of Osiris's death and resurrection to ensure the Nile will flood. You are everywhere, yet never truly present. The couriers note every twitch of weakness. The scribes catalog every pause in your speech. Even in ritual, surveillance is constant. Evenings are spent in strategy meetings or reviewing military reports, not for command, but for the appearance of control. Festivals, processions, and banquets stretch your body thin, but the people must see a living god. Slowly, your health deteriorates. Fevered limbs, shortened breath, and fatigue that no incense or prayer can mask. The illusion is maintained, but the machinery of divinity grinds against fragile flesh. Each day is labor, not freedom. The line of gods continues, but at the cost of your life. Years pass like this, and you're now 40. Decades of ritual, ceremony, and hollow authority have left your body frail and aching. Limbs tremble, breath shortens, and even the sacred oils and prayers barely mask your decline. You've had a handful of kids from concubines and lesser wives, but not your sister wife. She has had so many miscarriages and stillbirths that for the first time in your life, you question if you're really a god. But not today. Today is different. Your sister wife, the great royal wife, is in labor. The palace holds its collective breath, and for the first time, you feel a flicker of something beyond duty. Hope. But hope is cruel. Your son emerges small, twisted, and fragile, limbs bent unnaturally, breathing shallow, cries uneven. The court bows, priests chant, and physicians murmur behind screens. Everyone pretends not to see what is obvious. You are a god, you have been told. But divinity cannot explain this. Over the following months, the consequences of your family's pure blood legacy become undeniable. Nobles complain in hushed councils. 3 generations of weak rulers cannot defend Egypt. The Hittites reclaim territory. Nubians and Cushites raid the south, and sea raiders strike the coasts. Provinces bristle, generals grumble, and priests grow ambitious. You are still worshipped, still seen as divine, but increasingly irrelevant. Few years pass, and your son grows older. He is bedridden and dependent, a living testament to the bloodline's cost. You choose him as your heir anyway, obeying tradition and your grandmother's words over reason. And with that choice, the illusion of godhood begins to fracture. Authority slips through your hands like sand. Nobles question your judgment. Provinces weigh rebellion, and the machinery of kingship groans under the weight of physical and political decay. The palace grows colder, the halls longer, and the shadows of betrayal stretch farther. You are surrounded by people whose loyalty depends on power, not faith. Even your sister wife watches you with quiet concern, but cannot alter the relentless machinery of inheritance and custom. In private moments, you catch your reflection in the Nile or a polished bronze panel. Your body, wasted by inbreeding and age, mirrors your son's and your father's body before you. The crown atop your head feels heavier than ever. For the first time, the words of your grandmother, that the divine blood must be preserved, ring hollow. 9 years pass since the birth of your son, and you turn 49. 30 years of rule have carved your body into something brittle. Your skin stretches over weakness, your breath shallow. The said festival looms, the pinnacle of hope, the final assertion that you can still embody the God on earth. It is a festival that is held after 30 years of ruling. You believe that if you survive this ritual, if you run the sacred course and wear the double crowns once more, Ma'at will be restored, and your body, your legacy, will be renewed. You imagine yourself like Ramesses II, youthful and invincible, asserting divine power over all of Egypt. But shadows loom over the festivals. The whispers start first, servants muttering, generals testing your patience, and nobles asking too many questions about heirs. You realize the threat isn't abstract. It's close, personal. Guards and attendants are loyal, yes, but to Egypt, to stability, more than to you. You respond as best you can. Guard rotations double. Chambers are sealed. Trusted soldiers walk beside you at every procession and meeting. You even consider postponing the festival, knowing your body will not survive the ritual trial anyway. And for the first time in your life, you feel the vulnerability of a man beneath the crown. On the day your rule turns 30, the festival arrives and begins with feverish preparation. Priests cleanse and anoint you, sacred oils sealing your divinity even as your joints ache. You wear the said robe, crook and flail in hand, and run the ritual race between the boundary markers. Each stride is agony, each step a reminder of your failing flesh. The nobles cheer, the priests chant, and the people watch in awe. All believe this ceremony can reset what decades of genetics, disease, and paranoia have corroded. They, like you, hope ritual can substitute for reality. After the race, recoronation follows. The white crown of Upper Egypt and the red crown of Lower, bound once again to your head in elaborate processions. You visit the shrine of Men, Wepawet, and other gods. offering sacrifices, chants, each act intended to revive not just Egypt's cosmic balance, but your physical strength. You command it all with pride, but inside you feel a subtle shift, because even divinity cannot shield you from what your own blood is capable of. One of your sons, born of a lesser wife, whose claim to the throne was the strongest before your pure-blood heir was born, has been moving silently in the shadows. His ambition is patient, calculating, inevitable. Your preparation was not enough. The strike comes swiftly, efficiently. Your son's conspiracy executed by guards loyal to the kingdom over you. One precise blow to your throat, and the fragile life that cosplayed godhood ends. In death, you finally look whole. The embalmers drain the weakness from you with practiced care. Organs removed, skin packed, limbs straightened and wrapped tight. Resin and linen do what godhood never could. Your face is smoothed, your jaw set with confidence. You look stronger mummified than you ever did breathing. History will prefer this version of you. Your body is sealed, painted, gilded, and corrected. And while priests chant spells to guide your Ka, or life force, through the afterlife, your son finishes the work you couldn't. He cleans house, quietly, efficiently. Your queen is executed. Your pure-blood heir follows soon after. No trial, no ritual, just necessity. Egypt must not fracture again. You are taken west across the Nile into the Valley of the Kings, a god's resting place. Deep stone corridors, painted walls promising eternity. Your wife and child are buried separately in the Valley of the Queens, honored on paper, erased in practice. The new Pharaoh ascends. He gives offerings to your memory. He condemns the conspirators, except himself. He swears continuity. He takes one of his sisters as queen. The court praises tradition. The priests nod, and the bloodline folds inward again. The cycle continues without anyone being the wiser. Centuries later, scribes will carve you into stone as something immense, larger than life, a god who upholds Ma'at, a ruler chosen by Ra, a pharaoh whose reign was ordained, inevitable, and divine. They won't write about the sick child who struggled to stand. They won't write about the man who mistook frailty for holiness. They won't write about how death looked better on you than life ever did. History will only remember the divine persona of a pharaoh, not the body underneath it.